All right. Why Chinese Gen Z are refusing to work?
China's youth are
Let's get
staging
into
one
it.
of the largest protests in the country's history, and they're doing it from their bedrooms. No working, no marriage, no kids. Just doing the bare minimum to survive. It's a massive silent rebellion against a broken system.
Low key? Sounds a little bit like America too.
And the Chinese government is absolutely terrified. Chinese experts estimate that excluding students, the youth unemployment rate could be as high as 46.5%. That's nearly half of China's youth refusing to or unable to get a job. This is a trend where people are simply choosing to stay home and live stress-free.
I mean, let's be real. What's the point of trying to get a job out in China if no one's gonna hire you? I understand. This is literally the same thing that's happening in the USA. I mean, people can't get jobs, and they go to school for it, and then the people that even go to school can't get jobs getting out of school. So then everyone's like, well, what's the freaking point of going to school? We might as well just say fuck it and make them do something about it. So
why is China's government deeply terrified by this movement and desperately trying to censor it? Because this movement has a very clear intention to force China's government to finally fix their broken system. The movement started in 2021 under the name of Tangping, which means laying flat. The movement started with a man named Luo Huazhong who made posts documenting his lifestyle. He was unemployed, ate 2 meals a day, and only worked a few days a year when he needed the money. And this post struck a chord with millions, with many others sharing their minimalistic lifestyle.
everyone was like, you know what? If he can live life stress-free without having to work that much, why don't we all just do it? Why don't we all just live stress-free and just not do anything? This guy kind of started the wave. He's a trailblazer. He's the reason China's having these problems right now.
Online. Tangping was a movement that advocated for having low desire, low ambition, and rejecting consumerist mindsets. It didn't necessarily advocate for being unemployed, but rather a mindset of prioritizing
Just
one's
your
own
own
mental
freedom.
health over their boss or job or societal expectations. People who follow this ideology refuse to work overtime and will put off work from their bosses or ask to do it.
By the way, I think working overtime should not be considered something good. If you work overtime, that is something bad. Yes, you get more money for overtime, but you never get that time back. Let's be clear.
Later. The Tangping movement started as a rejection of being a corporate slave, but as the movement grew, people started taking this ideology even further by completely refusing to get a job. This led to the rise of the ideology of Bailan, which is a more extreme version of
Bailan.
Tangping. The term came from basketball slang, meaning we've already lost, so might as well just stop trying. Bailan's ideology is a rejection of many things. Don't buy a house or apartment, don't get married or have children, don't pursue a career, and spend the bare minimum to survive. Because why put effort into these things if they're impossible, or involve trading away your freedom or
Same thing with America. What's the point of having kids if you can't afford to have kids? And that's the biggest thing. Like, why would you have a kid if you can't afford one? And nowadays, you got to make at least 100,000 to get approved for a house, for a starter home. That's 300,000, not in a bad place. They have other places that are below 200, 150,000, but those places aren't really anywhere you would desirably want to live in. It's not like your property is gonna appreciate much over there. So it really is very similar to America. And I really do feel for these people because unfortunately they're under a dictatorship, so they don't get as much say as we do, but they definitely feel the same way as we do.
mental health. An example of this is how 70,000 graduates in China with master degrees have become food delivery drivers. Like DoorDash, but in China. Imagine grinding day and night, going through 18 years of China's brutal school system, just to say
Hold on, 18 years of their school system. I guess we go through 17 years, right? No, we don't go through 17 years. We start school at like what, 5? Dang, they go through 18 years of schooling. Holy, bro. Well, I guess if you count college, yeah, okay. Maybe we do have 18. I'm tripping. Fun fact, I went to college for 1 semester. So I did go to college. I just wasn't for me.
this at the last minute because you'd rather deliver pizza on your bike.
Facts.
Many are refusing to get a job and instead becoming full-time children by staying home to cook and clean for their parents, to live with them and earn a salary from them. Many are even being called rat people. People who stay in their bedrooms, waking up late in the day, rotting in their bed, doom scrolling for hours, and rarely going outside. Now, bailan doesn't mean quitting working entirely, but rather working only when necessary. This involves low-maintenance jobs like being an online tutor, streamer, content creator, driver, trash collector, etc. And it involves working these jobs for very low hours to make just enough money to survive.
Those are the kind of people in China where like they do like the flash sales on TikTok, like, oh, buy this new shirt, or like they're selling all the like the fake Louis, the fake Gucci stuff on TikTok shop live and just flash selling it. Those are the kind of people that work this job. I can already see it. I can already see it.
Under this lifestyle, some can still afford their basic necessities, but others cannot. Which takes us to the most extreme levels of Tongping, because millions of Chinese people are literally choosing to become homeless, as they see it as a better fate than becoming a corporate slave. This involves sleeping in internet cafes, restaurants, tents, train stations, or even directly on the street. Now, there's a lot more about bailan that needs to be said, but first I'd like to talk about today's sponsor, CyberGhost. You might think you're safe using incognito mode, but people are always watching you. Your internet service provider,
gonna
your
lie,
school
boys.
or work IT department.
A whole minute about CyberGhost is crazy.
Now back to the video. Recent government data reveals that there's 47.5 million homeless people in China, with 61% being under 33 years old.
Hold on. I need to see how many people. 745,000 people? Oh my gosh, bro. I would have thought it would have been more. Nah. China's cooking. China's cooking with this number. I'm not even gonna lie.
If you don't understand just how insane that is, that's equivalent to the entire population of South Korea. And these aren't the addicted, crackhead homeless people we have in the US. These are sane, logical people who did the math and realized that being homeless is better than working and paying rent.
虽然不对，但是它舒适啊。那你赚钱不就是为了过得舒适吗？我发现躺着就挺。
It seems like it's gotten to the point in China where everything's so expensive, it's impossible to get a job. Why break your back for 60 hours a week when you can just lay on the sidewalk for free and not do anything? I mean, I see their logic. I mean, there's some people they don't believe in being a slave to corporate and just working their life away, especially in China, when all you have to do is just work your life away. They don't care about your rights as much as they do in America. So over there, this probably feels 10 times worse to work all those hours just to try and make it through life, and then in the end, you still might end up homeless. So they're probably just like, we might as well just be homeless, lay on the ground, work when we need to, and some may try and follow their dreams on the internet. Some may try and just live their life freely. You know, I mean, I see where they're coming from. It doesn't make it right, but China's in a tough place financially.
不
just
是，
as
那我为啥还
America.
要再去赚钱呢？
Now, on a surface level, these people might seem lazy or guilty of having a loser's mentality, giving up whenever things get hard. But that couldn't be further from the truth. The people who subscribe to the Tongping ideology are actually very hardworking people, or at least they used to be. These are people who tried to make it in the system, who tried to create a good life for themselves by studying hard and going to college and finding a job. But the more they tried, the more they began to realize working harder does not mean attaining more happiness. Every year, the number of college graduates increases in China, but the quantity of new jobs isn't increasing to match this pace. This creates a job market with fierce competition. And in a job market where millions of qualified applicants are competing for fewer positions, the competitive differentiator between applicants isn't about who has more skills or knowledge. It's about who's more willing to work extreme amounts of hours.
And that
This
makes
has
a
led to a
problem.
brutal work culture known as 996, rising in prominence in the last decade. Work from 9 a.m.
Imagine there's 5 people. You all want the same job, but there's only one guy that can get it. And the one guy that can get it, you already know there's always going to be that one guy that's working 16 hours a day, 18 hours a day. He's pulling doubles on every week just so he can make sure he obtains this job. And like, obviously, you know, people like me, I'm like, man, I'm just gonna work 40 hours, man. I'm just gonna do what I can, do my best work. But this guy's obviously has more production because he's working doubles on doubles on doubles every day of the week. So I mean, I understand this is it's almost impossible, and only certain people will make it, but it's just because they already have no life. They have no girlfriend, probably. They don't have any kind of social life anywhere, not even on the internet. All they do is work, work, work 90 hours a day. 90 hours a week, I mean. This is crazy.
To 9 p.m. 6 days a week. Some employees spend so much time at the office that they end up sleeping there, having their entire lives revolve around their job. 996 is very common in China, with almost all the top tech and internet companies running by it. Millions of young Chinese individuals enter this workforce with the idea that hard work will bring them wealth and status. But the sad reality is, because so many applicants are willing to work extremely hard work is no longer a praiseworthy quality deserving of a promotion, but rather the norm that's expected out of every single employee. This reality has posed an existential question to China's youth. If running faster doesn't get you anywhere, then why run at all? China's youth was supposed to reap the rewards of their hard work. Their hard work was supposed to create a better world for them. But instead, their hard work has only helped the wealthy in China grow even wealthier. While
That's kind of like the thing with Asian people and grades. Like, I feel like that's kind of like fallen out of, grace a little bit, because they would say A is average, B is below average, C is, something like I can't come home, D is don't come home or something. I don't know. But, I think that old ideation of, the grades, and if you work hard, you do good, that's never really been a thing in the Asian culture. It was always like, you get good grades so you can be like everyone else, because everyone's getting good grades. And now that we see everyone gets good grades and you see no reward for it, who cares about getting good grades anymore? It doesn't fucking matter. If you get good grades, you're just an average. You're just the average if you get good grades. You got to get good grades, and you got to strive to be more, which is hard to do. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think the whole, you get good grades, you get awarded for it, out the door. Everyone gets good grades now, bro.
life is only getting worse for the rest of the population. In 1978, the bottom 50% of China's population earned 27% of China's national income. Today, they earn only 15% of China's national income. Why? Because the wealthy elite are taking more of this income for themselves. Housing prices are sky high, while salaries have remained low. More and more workers are being laid off because they simply aren't needed anymore. Many companies are even decreasing their wages because they have so many workers readily available to them. This is the nation that the youth's hard work has created. So why continue working hard if their hard work will only contribute more to this inequality? Now, if this was any other country, the youth would have done the obvious thing. Protest, rebel, speak out against this cruel system.
Yeah,
in Western democracies, the youth can vote for the changes they want to see be done. But not in China. There's no voting in China. Any attempt of criticizing the system will result in getting censored. Public protests rarely go anywhere because they always get silenced by law enforcement and often end in violence. Because of this, China's youth really only has one option, Tongping, to lie flat and refuse to cooperate with this corrupt system. It's a non-violent, quiet, hidden protest with a message that speaks louder than any banner, riot, or march. If you don't fix the system, we're not working. And this movement is only growing larger and larger every year, with more people joining the movement by lying flat, and more influencers and content creators bringing attention to this movement. So how is China's government reacting to this? Well, they're absolutely horrified. The CCP needs a motivated, productive workforce in order to reach their nation's goals, but the Tongping movement is preventing that vision from happening. As a result, China's government is doing whatever they can to stop the movement. The terms Tongping and Bailan, along with many other terms associated with the movement, have been completely erased from social media platforms. Any video that mentions these phrases is made invisible to the public. Many online discussion groups centered around these topics have also been shut down by China's government. But this attempt to hide the movement only made people angrier and didn't really stop anything, as people are still continuing to post about the movement by using euphemisms and alternative words to convey the same message. Many government-run news outlets are trying to stop the movement by shaming it. One news reporter said something along the lines of, "We understand that you're frustrated, but we don't care, so stop laying flat."
That is absolutely crazy. Like, you guys, you just need to get up and work. We don't care how you feel about our government and how the way things run here. You just need to work. Ah, this is crazy. China's about to, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Realistically, they just need to be more caring for their people. They need to understand that, there's not a lot of opportunity, for people to live their lives. You want people to be able to enjoy life and still work. If you're not able to work and enjoy life, what's the point of working your whole life? I mean, I understand some people don't really care because they don't have a life, right? They're like, I just go to work and I work. But realistically, it seems like a lot of this younger generation, they care about more than just working and breaking your back for a company that's not even going to care about you in 30 years and take your pension and retirement away from you once they sell the company out. I mean, let's be honest. A lot of companies screw over retirees. So, I mean, what's the point of giving 30 years to a company that's just going to screw you over?
但吐槽归吐槽，苦恼归苦恼，认
I
命
can
可
only
以，
imagine
躺
it's
平
worse
却
in
不行
China.。Like, I'm
Articles are
speaking
being
off an
published
American
by the
experience.
government condemning the movement by calling it shameful and harmful to China. One post by the Communist Youth League wrote, "China's youth has never chosen to lay flat." The government's reaction to this movement is very telling. It means that they know this movement is succeeding, and they're very afraid of what could happen if this continues. Not only is China's government shaming the Tongping movement, but Chinese boomers and Gen X are also speaking out against it, calling it a negative influence on people and society. They call the newer generations weak, lazy, and selfish, talking about how newer generations don't have the same
Chinese boomers trying to call us lazy and selfish again just because we want to live life the way we want to live.
drive, work ethic, and desire for improvement that older generations did. But what these people don't realize is that Gen Z is living in a completely different world than what the older generations experienced. Older generations experienced a world of blooming opportunities and the chance to succeed. They grew up in a world where hard work actually meant something. Their hard work allowed them to find a good job, climb the corporate ladder, gain promotions, and earn good wages. Marriage and buying a house and raising children was actually an option for them. Sadly, that is not the same world as today. The older generations and government can keep telling the youth to stop laying flats, but these are just empty phrases that don't mean anything. Telling China's youth to stop laying flat is like telling a homeless man to just go buy a house. Despite all their efforts, China's government will not be able to stop the Tongping movement. The only way to solve this problem is for them to fix their broken system. China's government is going to have to abolish 996 culture, not just pass laws against it, but to hold companies accountable for any form of unpaid overtime. They need to make life easier for the youth, like lowering apartment prices and increasing wages, so people actually have something to work towards instead of working their lives away without any purpose. This isn't some sort of outrageous goal, as there are hundreds of millions of apartments empty in China waiting to be filled, and China's growing economy should allow higher wages. Until then, more and more people are going to lay flat. If you like this video, I made a similar video about why Gen Z is rejecting corporate jobs that you can click right here. Don't forget to click the link in the description to get that CyberGhost discount. It keeps your data safe while you browse and allows you to watch
discount. So, final thoughts. I think China's going through a lot of the things that America's going through right now. I think this is more of like a whole world problem. It's a clash of generations at the time with Gen Z and boomers. Boomers obviously think Gen Z's lazy and selfish. We hear it here in America all the time. But like he said, it's just completely different. There's not as much opportunity out there. And if you do want to have a shot at that opportunity, you better not have a life, because you're going to have to give an arm and a leg. But anyways, guys, thank you for staying for the whole video. And if you did, stay spicy and peace.